Why has Blackhawks defenseman Wyatt Kaiser been so awesome? Find out from our pal Petey next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Hump Day. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Mario Tirabassi. Sarah's running the show. Steven is standing by, helping out with stuff as he always does. We are going to get to Petey here in a moment, but first want to remind you we are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Hit that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Make sure you do the same thing on your favorite podcast app. Without further ado, we're going to bring in our pal Steve Peters of Inside the Coach's Room, ESPN, our former colleague here at ALLCITY, our video analyst. And I know we've got a lot of new viewers as the Hawks have sort of picked up steam here. Petey is the best at breaking down hockey. He's been with us since we started, and we have had a lot of demand from our viewers to say, what is going on with Wyatt Kaiser? Why is he playing so well? So that was Petey's assignment today. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you.
I'm doing really well, and more importantly, it's 7 games into the season, and the Chicago Blackhawks are in a playoff position. Right. Too early, maybe a
just
shade,
like
but it's good news.
Expected.
Yeah, don't they,
exactly.
Don't they say by Canadian Thanksgiving, you know the playoff standings? Isn't that the old?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it.
We'll take it.
I think that's it.
We'll take it. So I know you've got a lot for us, and I don't know how up on Wyatt Kaiser you were before I reached out. I don't know how close of an eye you've been keeping. But before we get to the breakdown, just your thoughts watching the tape on not only Wyatt Kaiser, but the Blackhawks this year.
You know, this is a different team. And this is the things that you wanted to see from last year's Blackhawk team with the young players playing exceptionally well, them defending a little better. You wanted to see Spencer Knight playing extremely well. But most importantly, you wanted to see this team taking a step forward. And I know it's only 7 games in. I know it. I understand that. Don't get on me about being too optimistic. But they're doing those things. They're doing the little things better. They're quicker on pucks. They're in games. They're in tight games. Even the games they're losing, they're staying competitive and close till the end. That's what you want to see from a Chicago Blackhawks team. And I tell you what, it really does start on the back end. This back end right now, and you talk about the youth of this back end, my goodness, if they can continue to grow together and keep this young core defense together for years to come, honestly, there are really good things coming to Chicago.
Well, it's been really interesting the way Jeff Blashill has been using the 11 forward, 7 defenseman setup to not only kind of work some matchups with guys like Frank Nazar and Connor Bedard in the forwards group, but also to use it to not sit defensemen that he thinks should be playing and can be beneficial to be playing, namely the right side where you have Sam Rinzel and Artyom Levshunov and now Louis Crevier working in. How do you feel from a coach's standpoint and how this defense has been playing, how that has been playing out and how that's been affecting some of those guys?
You know what? We talk a lot about the 11-7 across this league, and there are few teams that can do it exceptionally well. It's hard. It's hard to manage a bench 11-7. What it does do, and especially for the Chicago Blackhawks, it gives some of those key players, when they're playing well, whether it's Frank Nazar or as Connor Bedard, when they're moving, gives them an opportunity to get more ice time. So that's a win up front. On the back end, it allows you to put the players in a position where you can make them most successful. It can give you better matchups. It can give you guys not getting extended on ice time, get the right penalty killers together. It gives you a lot more options back there on the back end, especially when you're running that many young defensemen in the same lineup, which is absolutely unheard of in the league, to have this many young defensemen in the roster at the same time. So Blashill's done an outstanding job at managing that so far. The concern of 11-7, we'll see later in the season as you start to look at the minutes that Bedard and Nazar and those top forwards are getting. Are they getting too extended? Are they getting tired? Are they getting hurt? Those are the things you start to look for as the season progresses. But right now, less than 10 games in, I think it's been one of the strengths of the Chicago Blackhawks is their ability to put the line and the matchup out on the ice that they want at any particular time.
Yeah, I know we're very highly aware of analytics, and I saw, Dom Lucian from The Athletic publish his predictions for this year. Again, he still has the Hawks finishing second to last, and he is a primarily, I'll say, basically only an analytics guy. But I'm telling you, and you said it, it just looks different. They are competing. They're in games, and I have felt, and maybe you have too over the last couple of years, that while the rosters haven't been great, it felt like they were underachieving a little bit. Like they probably should have been better than they were over the last couple of years. And I've just been really impressed with Blashill's, not only, managing the 11-7, but getting the most out of his veterans. Like Tyler Bertuzzi is engaged to a level I've never seen before. That guy is doing everything he can to win every game. And I just feel like just him having the buy-in from the team has gone such a long way. They believe what they're being coached and they respect what they're being told. And it's made a huge difference.
Yeah, I think that having Blashill come in with a new coaching staff at the beginning of the season, I think it's really shown how this team is improving. I think you looked at last year and you really had a lame duck coaching staff at the end of the season. And it's hard to build a culture and send a message when you're having that kind of a staff that you go as a veteran player, specifically knowing that things are going to change as things go forward. Blashill's brought in that consistency. And this is the way it's going to be. Like he's not going anywhere. It's his way to play. And I do think guys are bought in. I think this team is defending better. I think they're defending the rush better. I think they're just more cohesive as a 5-man group on the ice. And it's early. It's early times. But under Blashill, this team's playing better. And they're moving their feet better. They're more aggressive. They're just more fun to watch. The Blackhawk team right now is young and fast, just like you wanted them to be, but they're more consistently doing that under Blashill. I think this has been a great experiment so far. Now, having said that, Jay, it's a long season. We're 7 games in. There are a lot of bright spots here. There are some tough days ahead for this Blackhawk team. And you can't look at the end of the month and the early November. That's a really, really, really tough road trip for that team. You're going to have to see where they're at when you're middle of November. When you get through that road trip, I think that's going to be the real good indicator of where this team is going to be moving forward this season.
Now, you sent me some of the statistics that you found on your own regarding where Wyatt Kaiser is. We moved the conversation on to Wyatt Kaiser, where he stands with the team. And Sarah made a graphic. Here are the categories where Wyatt Kaiser leads. He's with takeaways, plus minus, zone denials, stretch passes, defensive D-zone passes at 5-on-5, neutral zone successful passes 5-on-5, and he leads the Hawks in plus minus. Like he's having a great season.
Yeah, and one of the things about Kaiser, and most of these statistics, the ones we didn't put on there is goals and assists. That's not why Kaiser's game. Yeah. Like Sam Rinzel and Levshunov, I think, is going to show more offensively as his career continues to progress. Why Kaiser's not that guy. Like he's not going to lead the Hawk defense in scoring. He's not, but that's okay. He does what he does exceptionally well, and what he does is he moves his feet well, skates well, and he moves the puck well. And you can put him out in any situation. And I believe he's not going to be a guy that's going to be your first guy over the boards on the power play. Other than that, Wyatt Kaiser can be out there at any time. He can be out there against the best players because he can skate well enough. He can defend well enough. He can get there offensively because he can get the puck off the wall so well, and he can move the puck so well. But most importantly, he gets you out of trouble in the defensive zone. And it's not because he's big and strong and pushes you through the glass. It's because he's smart. And he's good with his stick, and he's good with his feet, and he makes plays so that you defend less. All around, this kid's exceptional. Like Jay, I thank you for putting me on to this task because he does a lot of things very, very well, and he does very few things poorly. I didn't see him making grave mistakes, big turnovers in bad situations. He's just consistently good at all of the little details, and he's not going to be that top pair guy because you have different guys to do that. But he's going to be a guy that can play in the middle of your lineup that does things the right way.
Does it surprise you at all that he's been the one pretty much tasked with helping a guy like Artyom Levshunov get comfortable this season and be, his primary defensive partner this season because how much of what the Blackhawks have invested in Levshunov getting to that top tier level?
Yeah, I was, but when you look at it again, you go, it's probably the perfect fit because he's a guy that can cover up for defensive mistakes, and Levshunov's going to make some. He's turning the puck over in the defensive zone. He still gets pushed off the puck, and you could say the same about Sam Rinzel, who is by far he's the guy. Like Rinzel's the guy. We all know Rinzel's the guy, but you look at him in the defensive zone, he's still getting pushed off the puck. He's still turning the puck over. Those are the mistakes that Kaiser is not making, that he's able to cover up the mistakes of Rinzel and Levshunov. So I think right now the pairing that he's spending most of his pairing with Levshunov, I think it's a great matchup. I don't have any insecurities about having those two on the ice when they're defending the rush against really good players. And I don't know if I could have said that if Levshunov had a different player on his left side.
Well, because I don't know if you're aware, he was pretty much without a contract until Kaiser, I'm talking about, until the day before
training camp, yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of leverage because he was a restricted free agent with no arbitration rights. And the question we were asking was, what is it that Wyatt Kaiser is really good at? Like, what is that one thing about his game that he can point to and say, I can do this better than everybody? And I think you just answered it, and the answer is, I can do everything, which not everybody on this team can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, he's not Quinn Hughes. He's not Lane Hudson. He's not those defensemen that you look across the league and go, okay, I know that guy. Wyatt Kaiser's a guy that if you're not paying attention, you probably don't notice him. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's hard to go, oh, what a great breakout pass under pressure. Yeah. It's not a breakaway through the middle of the zone like Makar makes. And I think that's why you don't notice the little things that he does so well, because he just goes about them quietly. He's more like, I don't want to put him in the Gustav Forsling quite yet, but he's that. He moves his feet well. He's got a really good stick, defends well. He can block shots on the penalty kill, and yet you're not going to see him on the top power play. And I think that those are the players that can really help a team over the hump in winning. He's a guy that's going to be really, really, really important to this Blackhawks squad going forward over the next few seasons. I think it's important that he got locked up. I think this is a great move. And again, watch him. Really watch him closely over the next few games. Focus on him when he's on the ice and how he just does those little things really well.
It's funny you say that, because I have actually made a point over the last few games, knowing you were coming on, to keep an eye on him specifically. And you said it, like, it's the little things he does, the stick placements, the angles, the stick lifts here and there. Like, it is stuff that you will not see on a box score or on highlights or anything. But when you're seeing it from our perch in the press box, which is the best seat in the house, in my opinion, it's like we're at the blue line. It's great. We could see everything happening. He is always making the right read, always taking the right angle, and he is so good with that stick, and just really smart, really confident. I've been incredibly impressed with him this year, and it's kind of, you would say Rinzel is a little bit like found money because he was a late first-round pick, kind of a project that really has blossomed. But Kaiser is a guy who, over the last couple of years, as we were looking ahead, 2, 3, 4 years, it's not a name we really included in that conversation very much, and now he has solidified himself in that conversation for sure. So he's been awesome. And do you see potentially, you mentioned Gustav Forsling, who started his career here, had to go to his third team to really find his game, added some offense as he went on. Could you see Wyatt Kaiser, as his career goes on, 26, 27 years old, adding a little bit of offensive punch to his game?
I do, but not in the way you expect. Not in that coming in off the blue line. Excuse me, like you think of Charlie McAvoy coming in off the blue line and attacking the net. I don't see that. What I do see is I see a player that's going to be able to deliver the puck and get the puck to the front of the net. I see a guy that can get the puck through because, again, of his footwork. He's going to be able to change the angle on shots and deliver the puck to the net. Not off a big one-timer, just that casual wrist shot, and it's going to get through. And I think that's where you're going to look for him to add on your offensive side of the puck, is his ability to deliver the puck, because his feet are so good on the blue line that he can move away from trouble, and two, his ability to change angles with his shot. So I think he is going to get more shots through. So I think more tips, screens, rebound opportunities. So you're going to see him more involved with assists and helping the play and helping more secondary offense from in front of the net than I do see him being an active player coming in off the blue line, and attacking the net like you've seen with Rinzel, where he can be anywhere on the ice in the offensive zone at any time. I don't see that in Kaiser's game because honestly, he wants to be more responsible defensively. He will be more offensive, but not to the level of what you're talking about, some of these players like Levshunov and Rinzel.
Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break with PD. When we come back, we're going to go into the film room and break down frame by frame what Wyatt Kaiser is doing so well. In the meantime, hit that like button. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers to Bet365 can now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. And if you like betting on hockey, boy, do we have a deal for you.
Or girl.
With Bet365. Their early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gets a 3-goal lead and you get an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app, use the code CHGO365 when you sign up, and you're going to be eligible for those $200 in bonus bets if you're a new customer. Again, sign up, use the code CHGO365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether or not your bet wins or loses. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis and counseling services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Offer in-app only.
And you are ready for a real cola, because let's be real, the world's gone soft. We got people at this company complaining that their blueberry lemonade was stolen. Guess what?
Still?
They did you a favor by stealing the blueberry lemonade. You don't need that in your life. It's going to make you weak. It's going to make you soft. RC Cola is going to make you strong, like Bull. Put hair on your chest. If you want that. Maybe you don't. Whatever. It's going to do it.
You're going to get it no matter what.
That's right. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. It's the same bold, crisp flavor it's always been since 1905. RC Cola has not changed its stripes because it didn't need to. It's the original cola that never folds under the pressure. Do yourself a favor. Stock up for this weekend's games. You got the Hawks tomorrow. You got the Bears this weekend. Lots of reasons to have RC in your fridge, ice cold, ready to go. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. All right, we're back with PD. Let's get to it. You put a ton of work into this, and just so everybody knows, after the show, we're going to publish a YouTube link to PD's Inside the Coaches Room page where there is a full video breakdown of this as well. So you're going to want to check that out. All right, what do we need to know, sir?
And some of these projects, am I back? Am I now? Okay. Yeah. I just think that these projects are fun, and this is how you learn more about the game, is by watching whether it's a team and their systems or a particular player. So without further ado, do you want to get to it, Jay?
Let's do it.
Let's roll it. But some of the skills we talk about is puck moving skill. I know it's hard to see on stills, but here, instead of just throwing the puck away off the glass, he's able to move to his backhand and deliver the puck up the middle of the ice. He beats a forechecker that's right on top of him, and Chicago's going the other way. In these tight spaces, a young player is going to throw this puck up the wall. It's going to get pinched, and it's gone. But he's got patience. He looks to the middle of the ice. He finds where that open ice is, and he's able to deliver a puck that most coaches don't want you to make through the middle of the ice, and he's successful. This is one of those small players where he has Cooley on his back, and he puts Cooley behind him and separates Cooley from the puck, and he just makes a simple play to his partner, and they're out of the zone. It's these simple plays. Here's a pass to the middle of the ice again. He knows he's going to get hit. Great vision, but Chicago's out of the zone. Takes a hit, makes a play, and Chicago's able to get on the offensive. We talked about his ability to do these stretch passes where he leads Chicago from the defensive zone through the neutral zone. His vision on making plays like this all the way to the far blue line are one of his biggest skills, and he does it by his vision. He looks at the opponents, he sees where the opponents are, and then he makes that play through sticks, through traffic, and he's able to get Chicago going the other way. Again, we talk about his vision. He looks, he checks his shoulder, he knows that he's got forwards moving up the ice, so when he does get the puck and get around it, he can get that puck up the ice quickly. Exceptional puck mover. Again, when you see his ability to look, know what's happening up the ice, checks his shoulder just quickly so he knows what the traffic is coming on both sides. So when he gets the puck and rounds it, he can make a really good play up the ice. Offensively, this is what I talked about, his ability to not get trapped into corners, because young players can get stuck on the wall, and it's easy to turn the puck over here. He gets to the middle of the ice because he moves his feet so quickly where he's able to get out of traffic. Again, he brings the puck off the wall so he doesn't get stuck along the wall in that corner. He moves to the middle of the ice where he gets a better shooting angle. That's why he's able to play like that, because he moves his feet so well. And he moves them well so he can keep the puck in the offensive zone. Something we saw with Chicago towards the end of last year where their D were pinching more. With his speed and his ability to move his feet, he can keep the puck in the offensive zone over and over again where he comes down low and keeps the puck in the zone. But it's his defending and his ability to use his stick, not just his body, because he's not the big guy, but get his stick in lane and separate the opponent from the puck. This little push, he pushed that Vancouver player in the back and steals the puck. And you talk about his rush reads. Here's again his foot speed and his ability to use that speed through the neutral zone. So Florida looks like they have a break, but again, it's his foot speed. He's able to get neck on neck with that player, use a stick and knock it off his stick. Same with St. Louis. It looks like it's a lane up the ice, closes them off using his speed, gets the puck. This one's exceptional because it's a lot of speed coming up the ice with Anaheim. And watch how the Anaheim Duck player puts on the brakes. And he stops as well and puts a stick to the inside. It's a really skilled play by a young defenseman. So he closes off the middle of the ice and again turns the puck over. And his stick is outstanding, stopping the puck at the blue line, getting the puck turned over. Again, here's in overtime, stopping a 2-on-1 because he gets a stick on the puck and the puck goes back the other way in overtime. And an outstanding penalty killer. He's in the lane blocking a shot. He's able to find this lane. This play, he came out of the corner to get into the shooting lane, block a shot. But again, it's his stick on the penalty kill. He's able to stop the Boston Bruins from entering the zone because he's got a great stick. Here he puts a stick in the shooting lane, not allowing the puck to come to the seam and end up in the slot, again, because of a great stick. And he does have good anticipation offensively. You can see here when he steps onto the ice, he sees the change of possession. He rushes all the way in. He's able to get this shot off past Dostal and get his first goal of the season. So he does so many of these little things well, and that's why he is one of the top defensemen two ways on this Chicago Blackhawks team.
Now that is outstanding stuff, and behind the scenes, people don't know, Petey's calling that live. All right, we're playing the
Very
video.
impressive.
He's doing it. This is not recorded. Petey is live. There is no delay, no cue cards, top of his head. That is a brilliant man.
It's almost like he's done video sessions before.
Yeah, I fooled him again. No, I tell you what, it's hard to really see the nuances in these still frames. Unfortunately, there are some copyright rules with the National Hockey League that make it more difficult, but it does give you an idea of some of those little skills, his hand movement, his stick placement, and most importantly, his footwork. He is so fun to watch. His first 2 or 3 strides when he gets going, man, he's fun to watch. I'm excited to watch him more closely as the season goes on. It's something I did with Vlasic last year and Renzel when he came up, and even Levshunov. But now Wyatt Kaiser is slowly impressing me. So I appreciate it, Jay, for giving me this little project to work on.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Renzel and Levshunov because towards the end of last year, you did a video on those two, breaking it down, and it was outstanding. And just as a reminder to our listeners or to our new listeners, like, Petey, you were raving about those two and their potential. And now that you've had the chance to break down a couple games watching Kaiser, you did sort of get to them earlier. What I'm seeing from those guys now that they're here, clean slate. Last year they come up, there's nothing to lose. They're out of the playoffs. There's no stakes. I've seen both of them, probably Levshunov to a higher extent than Renzel. You can sort of see them thinking on the ice, processing things instead of just using their instincts and playing. What have you seen from those two in this new season that maybe was not there last year?
Yeah, I think with Levshunov specifically, he's a guy I think last year when he came up, the season was nearly over, and it was honestly didn't have anything to lose, and he played like that. He just went and played, and I thought you saw some of that offensive spark that they really want out of him. I don't see that this year yet. I think he is more tentative. I think he's more concerned about making mistakes. So I think he is a beat slower with the puck and his decisions than he was a season ago. I think he's still turning the puck over defensively below the goal line too much. I think he's going to have to build some confidence, and that's hard. He's 19, and he needs to get a little physically stronger and a little more confident. And that's going to come with play because I know the tools are there and the toolbox is full of some great skills. But right now he's off to a little slower start than I anticipated offensively. With Renzel, I think this is what he is in the short term. Like, this dude, risk reward, like, he's coming. Like, I'm off the blue line active. I'm going to be around that goal line. I might tap in a nice play to the front of the net for a goal, or I might get beat up the ice on a 2-on-1 because I'm where I probably shouldn't be. I think he's the guy that's going to be more dynamic and more exciting to watch right now. One concern with Renzel that I have, and it's small, it's in the defensive zone. I'd like to see him make puck decisions more quickly because right now he's he's not physically strong enough to fight off that forecheck or fight off that opponent where he will as he gets stronger. He's not very, and he's tall, but he's not a real muscular kid. He's going to have to work on that so he can be more of a Makar in the defensive zone where he's able to protect the puck better and push players off the puck. He is going to be the guy that's going to be on the score sheet, though. Like he is exciting, and I think it's going to be that risk reward. Like, oh my goodness, you turn that puck over in the neutral zone, or oh, you're going the wrong way. You're going to hear that with Rinzel, but you're also going to hear, oh my goodness, there he is on a breakaway scoring again. So I think both of those two young defensemen have a lot and a lot to progress, and their ceiling is very high. I've said it many times, and you go across the NHL right now and look at the top 6 or 7 D on all these teams. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has the depth and the youth of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Love to hear that.
That's exciting.
With Levshunov, one thing that I think, and Jay and I have kind of talked about it a little bit, that we've been noticing with him this season is sometimes the passes he's making, not necessarily, because I think his play style sometimes is looked at as like, oh, he's not giving 100% effort or he's making lazy plays, but I think it's more or less that he has just more of a natural talent to make things happen, that it looks like he's not working as hard to do it yet. But I think one thing is with like his puck handling and his passing, a lot of times in practice and in games, we've seen him kind of fan on passes, or the passes don't have the zip that you'd want to see. Is that probably something from your perspective you might see with a player who is thinking too much and is maybe not playing with that like aggression, like you were saying, that he had at the end of last season?
Yeah, I think it's tentative play. I think that does come with confidence, because you're so concerned about making a mistake or making the wrong play that it doesn't allow you to make the right play, that you're grabbing your stick too tight, or you really don't want to put a puck into areas that you maybe shouldn't. And he's second on turnovers by defensemen by the Chicago Blackhawks, again, led by Sam Rinzel, but that's a guy that has the puck on his stick an awful lot. So I do think Levshunov, as he continues to get more ice time and continues to build confidence in those situations where he has to make those plays, the skill is there. It is going to come, and it's only 7 games into this season, and he hasn't caused that much trouble. He's still a +4 and plus minus, and if he were -5, 6, 7, I'd be more concerned, but he's not right now. So I do think he, as his confidence grows, I think he's going to be fine.
What else have you observed from this team? Just sort of watching what you've watched so far. Maybe just aside from the defense, like Frank Nazar has been a big story. Connor Bedard's improved play. What has stood out to you? Yeah, Spencer Knight's been great. What has stood out to you?
It is Spencer Knight. We have to talk about him. I mean, he's 3rd in save percentage. He's 8th in goals against. So you got a top 10 goalie. When you have a top 10 goalie, you have a chance to win every night. I think that was one of the biggest moves by this management team in the offseason, is getting him extended. And now you've got a guy that you feel can be your number 1 for a very long time. And he has been a big difference. I look at the forwards and what's going on up front. I still think you're going to see some more experimenting with lines. And I don't think that's uncommon for a Blackhawk fan to see them shuffling things around, trying to find that perfect mix for Bedard. But the one thing you've seen this year, and maybe it's just me, it's Frank Nazar and the excitement he brings when his feet go over the boards, and that speed and that pace and the getting to the net and that reckless abandon in his offensive side of the game. I wanted to see that out of Connor Bedard, and now with a couple of seasons of Connor Bedard, I know that's not his game like Frank Nazar. They're completely different players, but I do think that's the excitement that you're seeing. Now you're seeing more depth in this lineup than you saw a year ago. I don't think you're leaning top heavy anymore. I think you're getting more goals throughout this lineup. I think this team gets to the net extremely hard, especially their veteran players. But the biggest change I see with Blashill, when we talk about selling a message, is I think this team is defending better. And I know Spencer Knight gets some of the credit for that, but secondarily, when you look through the neutral zone and giving up rush chances, you look at a team right now that when they're in structure and they get the opportunity to, they're really trying to stop their opponent at the blue line. They're trying to get 3 guys across, and they're trying to slow down their opponent. Now, it doesn't always work because you turn the puck over and people can come at you before you're in structure. But I think their neutral zone structure is better and tighter, and I think they're better around their own net. They're not giving up those 5 alarm bell saves from the slot area as much as they did a season ago. So I do think Blashill has helped this team defend better, and through the neutral zone and in the defensive zone, this team's better. They just look like they believe, and you know, anything you do in your life, it's hard to do if you don't believe you can do it well. This team believes right now, and again, there's a long way to go, but as a Chicago Blackhawk fan, you just wanted to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's been dark for years. And this is some excitement. And there are some things that, gosh, we have offense. And good grief, we can defend. And our goaltender's really good. Just wait. When this all comes together, this is a really, really good team. And you want to be with the Anaheim Ducks and the Utah Mammoth and the young teams in the West that are starting to excel. And you're right there.
All right, you gave us 4 longs there. Long, 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 long way to go. Are you saying a long, long, long way to go to a cup? Or a long, long, long way to go to the playoffs?
Well, and I apologize that too, but you got to understand, I'm from Arizona, and we've played against the Blackhawks enough to understand the Blackhawks equate success with cups. That's what they want to see. They want to see competing for a Stanley Cup. Is this a playoff team this year? I don't think they are. And I think that there are teams right now that are out shooting their coverage. And I think the Seattle Kraken is a team that's going to come back down to earth a little bit. Chicago's going to hang in there for a while, but there are teams out of the playoffs right now, like Edmonton and Minnesota and Dallas, even the LA Kings, that I still think are really good hockey teams that are going to find their way and climb back into the standings. I don't think this is Chicago's year, and I think that's okay. I think the longer they can stay in a playoff spot or compete for a playoff spot is better for everyone. So this is a huge step forward. When I say long, 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 I mean competing for a Stanley Cup. Is this a playoff team or a potential playoff team over the next 2 seasons? I think they are. I think this year is going to be tough. Next year is where you're looking to be where Utah and Anaheim are. I think they're behind those teams because those teams have got a head start on their rebuild. But I do think this, once they get there, and you can get into the playoffs and you've got all these young defensemen locked up and you've got these young forwards locked up, you've got a bright future where you're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row in the playoffs instead of just one where you sneak in at 8th and you're done. That's not what this team wants. You want to be there perennially. I think this is a playoff team, not this year, but the following 2 seasons. I think you'll see the Blackhawks back in the playoffs.
I love it. All right. Thank you, PD. We appreciate you. As always, I'm sure we'll catch up several times throughout the season. And if you ever see anything that you think needs our attention, please let us know. Let us know.
I will.
We'll throw you on, man.
Keep my eye on those Blackhawks. Thanks again for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it, and can't wait to see those Blackhawks as they progress.
All right, buddy. Absolutely. We miss you. It's good to see you again. Follow PD at SPetersHockey on Twitter, and check out Inside the Coach's Room on YouTube, and we'll put the Wyatt Kaiser video. We'll link to it after the show today at CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is our buddy PD, Steve Peters, ESPN, Inside the Coach's Room. Outstanding stuff. We'll react on the other side of the break zone here on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Finances can be messy and confusing and, frankly, stressful. You need Monarch Money. Monarch Money acts like your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control so you can stop earning and start growing. Don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. Stay tuned for that offer. I started using Monarch Money earlier this month, saw where I was spending money, where I was, frankly, wasting money, and just having that knowledge has saved me probably 30% of what I was wasting money on just from the awareness of it. And now I'm plugging in more accounts, getting my 401k in there, all those sort of things, and really getting a big financial picture. It's helping me out big time. It'll do the same thing for you. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use our code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with our code CHGO.
Does Monarch Money have a category for money saved for tickets?
It should.
It should.
You can create custom categories.
That would work. Hey, and once you do that with Monarch, head over to the Game Time app and buy yourself some tickets to any sporting event or concert or theater event, whatever you want, through their app, because that is the app that gives you the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. What's awesome about the Game Time app is that the fees are upfront and included. So what you see is what you get. It's what you pay. Nothing surprising at checkout. What is surprising with Game Time is their lowest price guarantee, which means if you find the same ticket for the same seat to put your butt in, they will, on a different site, they will credit you 110% of the difference. That's how much they care about you getting the best deal through them. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Tap Ticket Go. Download the Game Time app today.
And we're back. on CHGO Blackhawks. I see a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh man, I'm late. I missed Petey." Rewind it.
Yeah, you can DVR on YouTube
or watch it twice.
We're not that bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and rewind it.
Still got half an hour of you guys.
Yeah. You're fine. Just don't skip the ads.
Yeah.
You got to see Harry Nick Foligno yelling at Eagles on your RC ads. When
we got to
log
confirm
in.
if that is him or not. We'll ask him when he gets back.
Maybe he
to
filmed
town.
the new one when he was had his leave of absence.
Sure.
I mean, great stuff from Petey, and I did cringe a little bit when he said they have a long way to go, and I thought,
well,
am I seeing things incorrectly? Because it doesn't seem that far away that they're going to be a good team.
It's a realistic viewpoint to say that this team is still under construction. Like, this isn't the finished product.
No.
This season isn't okay. The rebuild is done, and this is it moving forward. Like, there's still a lot of growth needed for the team. So that is the longer process, is the growth, and not all the guys that you expect to be part of that contending window that Kyle Davidson is trying to create with this team, an extended window. Not all those guys are even here, playing in North America or even in the organization yet. So there is still a ways to go before you look at the Blackhawks and say, this is the team in its full form and hitting on all strides. 6 games into the season, they are above expectations. 7 games. 7 games?
7.
7 games into the season. They are above expectations already. And, yeah, you mentioned, The Athletic and Dom Lucian's, updated season standings, expectations, all that stuff. They've jumped 1 spot up from being last place to being second to last place, jumping the Sharks. But I think as this season goes on, and we'll talk about it later this week about expectations and what may or may not change them. But I think as this season goes on, if you get continued performances like we've seen through the first 7 games, this is going to be a team that's not going to be near the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying playoffs, but I don't think get your Gavin McKenna Blackhawks jerseys printed early. Like, I think if we get what we've seen through 7 games for an extended stretch, it's going to get a lot of people excited, get a lot more eyes on the Blackhawks, get a lot more positivity going on for this team moving forward, and a lot more expectations as the rebuild goes on. As you get those guys in here, the Frondels and Boisvert and so on and so forth, Kanserov, get those guys into the mix, and then you're talking about a team that's on the path to contendership. It's good vibes early on this season.
Here's the thing, though, I'm trying to. Our desire for this team to be good for professional reasons and personal reasons is strong, right?
Yes,
like, we have seen a massive uptick in viewership. We have been happier to come to work.
Yeah,
like, we've been better men at home. Like, all the things that, I mean, when things are going well with the Blackhawks, things are going well for us. And I'm trying to look at this from a don't overhype it, don't get too excited. Like, there's going to be rough patches, and there are. For the 8-2 win to head against St. Louis, somewhere in there is going to be an 8-2 loss where everything looks horrible. Like, it
could be tomorrow night.
Coming. It could be tomorrow night. It could be, who knows?
It could be that tomorrow night's game could be the screeching halt of this season. Who knows?
It really could.
Even though it's the last place in the Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay Lightning.
They'll be okay, I think.
It's still the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. It just looks different.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, did they get wins last year and the year before and the year before that? They did. But I felt like almost every win they've had over the last 3 seasons has been, boy, I don't know how they pulled that out. Or it was an unbelievable individual performance that kept them in them. And you could argue that Spencer Knight has had 5 unbelievable performances that has kept them in games. But, they have the edge in play in the analytics. They've got more possession. They've got more high danger chances. That was never the case last year. Mm-hmm. Never. If it was close to 50%, you felt like that was a massive win. If they were 47, 48%, that's one of the better games they've played in a while. This year they've been on top in that department several times, and they just, I don't know, they just don't feel like a team that's barely hanging on for 60 minutes night after night after night. It doesn't feel that way. In fact, for all the times that they have this season where it's like, okay, they're really, it's getting taken to them a little bit. We saw with Utah a little bit. We saw with Florida a little bit here and there sporadically in other games. You're seeing them do the same to the opponent almost as often. So I don't know. It just, to me, it just looks like a different and a better team. I've watched a lot of hockey in my life, and I'm no expert, but like, I don't know. I know what bad hockey looks like. I've had a lot of exposure to it lately, and years before the dynasty. This does not look like bad hockey. This does not look like a team that's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I think this is a team that through the first 7 games, they've been able to do the things that the teams of the past 2-3 seasons haven't been able to do. They've been able to not let one bad thing turn into 2, turn into 3, turn into 10 bad things. They haven't so far had to react to the first goal of a game or the second goal of a game and have to try and dig themselves out. More often than not in games this season, they've landed the first punch with scoring the first goal and getting out to leads. They've been going into third periods with legitimate chances to win or have the lead going in the third period. Like that is a thing that we haven't seen all too often in the last few seasons. And I think one of the other things with this team, not only their structure and their style defensively, how they've been executing that, they've had the goaltending to back it up with Arvid Soderblom and Spencer Knight playing really well to start the season. They're also finishing their chances that they're getting. And I think that's one of the big things from the last few seasons is that they'd get chances, but then it would be, Zach Sanford would get the chance, or it would be Buddy Robinson or something like that, or like, no offense, we have his stick somewhere in the office. Tyler Johnson would have like a breakaway, and you're like, okay. But now it's, you're getting guys, you're getting the effort from Bertuzzi, you're getting Tavo creating offense. You got Bedard, you have Nazar, you have more guys on this team now that you have trust in being able to actually capitalize on those chances. And I mean, you look at the numbers so far this season, at all strengths, the Blackhawks are second in the NHL in PDO, which is a stat that combines save percentage and shooting percentage. They're at a 1.057, which means they are 0.057 better than flat average.
Right.
The only team they're trailing behind is the Winnipeg Jets at a 1.08. Like that's a high number.
Yeah.
So they're getting great goaltending. They're finishing their chances. That's evident by that stat, and that's what's giving them the success early on. Now, most PDO heavy teams crash
be a regression
eventually. Yep. But I think early on you're getting really good goaltending. You're finishing chances, and it's things that you didn't have for the last few seasons. So it makes it feel a lot better. And I think when there is that eventual regression to the average that you usually see from PDO teams, what you have to fall back on is playing within your structure and limiting turnovers and staying out of the penalty box.
Yeah.
The structure this year has been really good. If they can get to that, clean up the turnovers, clean up the penalties, you're going to be able to continue to be a team that's in games and that is competitive and that is getting wins that last year you wouldn't have gotten.
Well, and those names you mentioned earlier, and Bijan says the Athanasiou breakaway. There's no one on this roster right now that's not an NHL player.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the forward group. You could argue that, like, all right, maybe Levshunov needs some more AHL seasoning. You could maybe argue that for Renzel a little bit, but like, fine.
In other scenarios, yeah.
But forwards, those are all NHL forwards.
Even Ryan Green, who was supposed to start the year in Rockford and then got recalled because it was Lafferty that got, or Slaggert that got hurt.
Yeah.
Even Ryan Green's played really well. And that was a guy that was supposed to start in the AHL, and he's played himself into a more regular lineup spot. And as the lineup starts to get healthy again with Dickinson and Burakovsky, who, as you saw today, was away from the team because his wife had their second child, I believe it is.
I think so, yeah. Congrats.
So congratulations to the Burakovskis and Bertuzzi's as well. They had a child in late September that was publicized yesterday. But when Burakovsky comes back, you got Foligno back. When Dickinson's healthy, like Ryan Green could be a guy that isn't the odd man out. I mean, he could be.
Yeah.
He's still, it's his rookie year. You know, he's still less than 10 games into his NHL career, but he's a guy that, when given the opportunity, has really ran with it.
100%. All right. Hawks are in Tampa tomorrow. They're there now. Why don't we take a moment? We can hear from Blackhawks head coach Jeff Blashill. He actually talks about in this, this is after practice today, about his time with John Cooper in Tampa. That's pretty much the whole bulk of this, and then he gets some injury updates at the end. We'll talk about it on the other side as we look forward to tomorrow's game against the Lightning.
Cooper's asked what he learned from you. I want to know what you learned from him.
Nothing.
That's
no,
not
I'm just kidding.
the answer.
Yeah. You know, first off, I would say, you know, Cooper and I have been friends for a long time, and I think I've learned a lot from him over the years of our friendship. Specifically over the last 3 years, you know, I mean, you get into a setting like the setting here, you get a chance to learn not just from Coop, but from the great coaching staff that he has, from the great players that are on the team, and you just learn from all those guys. Certainly with Coop, I would say he did a really good job at delegating and utilizing his staff. And I think it's easy sometimes as the head coach to try to do everything, but ultimately, I think if you know what I kind of from that process, what that allowed him to do was when he spoke, it mattered, you know, because he would allow his assistants to run some meetings and things like that. So when he spoke, it mattered that much more. But I'd also say it allowed him to focus on probably what's most important, and that's the relationship with the players and the communication with the players. And so it was a good opportunity for me to kind of just a reminder to myself that, you know, you can have all the X's and O's you want, but our number one job is to get the most out of our players, and the way to do that ultimately is to build relationships, hold them accountable, be in the fight with them, and I think he does that as well as anybody in the league.
And Jeff, I should know this, but remind me, how did the two of you really connect?
We started coaching probably we coached a team Michigan in for the USA Hockey Festivals in 2000. So you know, so it's probably been 25 years of, and then we hit it off, and we ended up becoming really good friends through the process. And I recruit players off him when he was coaching junior and I was coaching college. We coached against each other in junior for a couple years, and then again we coached against each other for a long time in the NHL.
I guess an unrelated question, do you expect Burakovsky to be here tomorrow?
I'll know more on that tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dickinson, it looked like he was kind of partial to his bench.
Yeah, I don't expect Dickey tomorrow. I would anticipate Sunday would be a better opportunity for him, but we'll take it day to day still. I don't know that for sure, but that's my guess.
All right, there he is, Jeff Blashill.
Ben Pope. We interrupt this Tampa Bay Lightning feature interview for Blackhawks news. Thank you.
Yeah. If Burakovsky doesn't play and
fine.
Dickinson doesn't play,
that's fine. Are
we finally going to get a Sam Lafferty day?
Maybe. Well, I mean, look at
next episode.
Look at
what
the
will
lineup
it take
right
for
now.
Sam Lafferty to play a game?
Well, look at the lineup from today from practice. Ben Pope, obviously, he had it out there.
And no one else want to go to Florida, huh? All right.
Not for just one game.
I'll go.
I mean, you look at it. You got Reichel with Bedard and Bertuzzi. Everyone lost their mind over that.
Potential spot filler for Burakovsky, though.
Right. And look, I would say if you're Andre Burakovsky and you just had your wife just had a child back here in Chicago area, don't take the red eye to get to Florida to play a game to then fly back to Chicago. Just take the extra day off.
What?
There's
They're in a playoff chase, baby.
There's
Let's
no
go.
reason. Just take the extra day.
That's what you signed up for.
It's fine.
Les Grobstein would be furious.
You got Tirabassi with Nazar and Mikheyev, Doc with Green and Donato, and then Slaggert, Foligno, Lafferty, Vlasic, Renzel, Kaiser, Levshunov, Grzelcyk, Murphy, and Crevier is also there. So you do have one extra spot filled. You have 12 forwards and 7 defensemen. They're not going to scratch anyone from the defensive group. They're going to go 11-7, and Sam Lafferty's going to sit. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And you know what? That's fine. That's totally fine. When Dickinson and Burakovsky come back, you probably have Reichel go back down the lineup, probably sit eventually. And then I'm interested because as we were kind of talking about with Ryan Green, the way he's played, how he's taken advantage of this opportunity with Burakovsky and Dickinson back in, you still have one extra forward if you're sitting Lafferty, if you're sitting Reichel.
Yeah.
Is it Slaggert? Is it Green? Is it Doc? I know we kind of had this conversation earlier this week, but I'm still very interested to see if and when you get back to your full 14 forward group, who are the three that are coming out? If you're saying Lafferty's already one of them, who are the two others?
Yeah, that's a tough question because I know a lot of people have sort of thought maybe Colton Dock could use a sit, but I think he's been really effective. I mean, look, he's not a top line player. He earned that opportunity early in the season and did okay.
Yeah,
but he's not the kind of guy you can put up there permanently. But I think he's done fine in the role he's had. Was leading the league in hits at one point. I haven't checked in on that lately, but it's got to be close to the top still. I think he's brought what you're asking him to bring, which is consistency, physical play, responsible, don't hurt the team sort of stuff, and he's been fine with that, and he does bring a little bit of what the team lacks. I don't know who that extra sit's going to be. It's a tough call, and I guess you could justify sitting Ryan Green just because he's a rookie and because but like we've been saying, if they're here,
they should play.
If you've got young players here, they should play, and I would say who is in that category to you of if they're here, they have to play? Green. Yes. Doc.
Yep.
Yes. Slaggert.
Yeah.
So then it's Reichel. Because we have pretty much been being told for the last 8 months that the Hawks have already made up their mind on Lucas Reichel, and it's a matter of someone picking up a phone and giving a decent offer for him, and he's gone. So if we're going by that logic of the kids that are part of this future have to play, and you've got to scratch 3, then Lucas Reichel is going to be the odd man out here.
Yeah, I mean, But that's if you're scratching Lafferty and you're scratching Reichel, you still got one extra forward for 11.
Yeah.
So then you're still talking about Doc or Slaggert or Green.
Slaggert.
And I think if you're scratching,
you could scratch Slaggert and say maintenance.
If you're scratching Green, that's the guy I for sure am sending to Rockford. And then you carry 13 forwards.
Right.
That's what I would do.
You could rest Slaggert, who has had already since the preseason 2 injuries. You could just say, all right, night off, maintenance.
Right.
Take a little breather. You don't need to send him to Rockford. You kind of know what you have with Lafferty. I think there's more there, but I don't think Landon Slaggert going to Rockford is going to develop any further. I think you pretty much have what you need from him in that regard.
I don't think there's anything that you're saying like he's developing in Rockford. He's an NHL player. He's got to grow in the NHL.
Well, we'll see. We're going to find out soon, hopefully. If they have this dilemma where everybody's healthy, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes these things work themselves out. Injuries are inevitable. You don't wish for it, but there always seems to be something where someone goes down with like a couple weeks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then okay, here's opportunities for other players to get in and out. So tomorrow's morning skate will give us more of an indication of who's available, because sounds like Dickinson's not. Burakovsky is still a question mark, but again, I say just stay home. It's fine. It's the 8th game of the year. It's a one-off road trip. Just be with your family for one extra day with your family is better than
the people at RC Cola are raging right now.
Yeah.
The world's gone soft.
RC Cola, family second.
Baby was born 3 days ago.
Cola first.
Get over it. Get on the ice. It's the playoff chase. I said Les Gropstein earlier. I'll never forget. He was so mad. Peanut Tillman missed a game because his wife had a baby. He should have planned, I believe, Les said, he should have planned the intercourse better. Something along those lines of, wait, stop. What's 9 months from today?
It's not
It's game day.
It's not a well, yeah. It's not a it's not a out of well, it's an out of pocket thing to say.
Yes, it is.
But it's not a out of pocket line of thinking, because these, professional athletes, they do plan those things where, okay, like think about a lot of players will have kids in the summer because it's the off season, or right before the season, that window of like June to September, they try and think like, okay, like let's line it up for there so that you don't have to leave your team for the birth and all that stuff. Like you have it to where you're in a spot where, oh, this lines up with the off season and I can be home and not be traveling and all that stuff. I forget who for The Athletic, I'm pretty sure it was The Athletic, did the story the last year or two about said topic. And I think the quote coming from it was like, it's like a lot of banging going on in November or something like that around the NHL, because that lines up with like June being the due date and whatnot. So it's a thing. It is a thing that pro athletes will tell you about. So next time we talk to Burakovsky, we'll get the inside story.
Yeah, take it when you can get it. The rare instance someone's in the mood, you got to jump at the opportunity. Lightning tomorrow.
Yes,
they are 1-3-2.
Garbage.
They have They lost their first game 5-4 to Ottawa, second game 5-3 to New Jersey. They beat the Bruins 4-3. They lost to the Caps in overtime. They lost to the Wings in overtime, and then they lost to Columbus 3-2 on Saturday. No wins this season for Andrei Vasilevsky. Jonas Johansson has a single Lightning win. This,
John Cooper's on the hot seat.
On paper, is a winnable game.
Sure.
And this is the sort of stuff that I want to see. How do they do against teams like this? Mm-hmm. Teams that are top, look, they're 1-3-2. They're not a 1-3-2 team.
No.
When the smoke clears, the Lightning are going to be firmly in the playoffs, and they'll be maybe winning a round, maybe winning 2 rounds, whatever it might be. Remember, Vasilevsky was hurt up until the start of the season, so he's not fully back yet, 100% probably. We don't know who we're going to see in goal tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll do a pregame, by the way, so don't miss that. Pregame will be at, 5:45 puck drop, so 5:15?
Yeah.
Pregame tomorrow. So we'll see who starts for them, but I want to see how the Hawks hold up against a Stanley Cup level roster. We saw it against the Panthers, and it got ugly for stretches of that game. They ended up losing by 1. They hung in there. They battled. But now I want to see, without the momentum of opening night and all those sort of things, how they fare against. This is going to be a pretty good measuring tape game for the Blackhawks. And I can't wait. It's been too long of a wait for a game here.
Been a lot of days off, yeah.
And they've been off since Saturday, Tampa.
Yeah, it's a weird scheduling.
Everybody's rested.
What? Pull up the schedule that you put into ChatGPT that perfected it at practice. Looking at some of the analytics and advanced stats, the Blackhawks are better than the Lightning at 5v5 in Corsi for, shots for, goals for, and they're just off pace of expected goals for at 5v5. Early in the season.
Yeah.
Rosters are, just like you just said, Tampa Bay's roster is more on paper. Yes, this is a playoff team. Blackhawks, no, it's not a playoff team. But the start of the season, you break down the numbers, teams are comparable. This is a time where this Blackhawks team, if they're going to beat Tampa this year, this is the perfect time to jump on them when they're sputtering out of the gate.
100%. And I hope they know that. I hope they get the message. And I hope there's, I don't know if players anymore are like, win one for the coach who coached here last year. But if you're looking for something, if you're looking for some extra motivation, it'd be cool to get a win for Blashill here. I'm just, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect next game. And as you look ahead for the Hawks, it's Tampa home versus LA Sunday. or home against Ottawa on Tuesday, then in Winnipeg on Thursday. So it's getting tougher here. LA, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, Detroit. Detroit looks really good.
They're hot.
So it's not getting easier. So the mention of mid-November, that Detroit game is November 9th. They play the Devils November 12th. If we're still talking about the Blackhawks in the same tones we are now, then we're cooking. Then we're talking about something.
I remember a few weeks ago, or not a few episodes ago on 32 Thoughts.
Well, we are going to hit overtime here real quick. So if you're watching on Fast, switch over to allchgo.com.
There we go. Better than yesterday.
Thank you. I'm working on it.
That's all you want to be, is better than the version of yourself yesterday.
What is it? Good, better, best?
Good, better, best.
All right.
Never let it rest. Which, since we are in overtime, why not just promote? We have a new, better, best.
Ooh, we got a new graphic?
New shirt.
Oh, new shirt.
Yeah.
The good, better, best shirt.
So, yeah, go to allcity.com, All-City Locker, CHGO Locker. You can buy that.
Look at that. Another new Bear
Anyways,
shirt.
continue, guys.
Go get it.
Another new Bear shirt.
What was I talking about?
New Bear shirts.
Nope.
Oh, there's another one on the screen.
That's not what I was. Oh, yeah. There's another one. New release. New release is weekly. Weekly episodes, podcast, 32 Thoughts.
Yes.
There's the thought train. Elliot Friedman was saying that a stat that is his own research over the last, I think, have been within 4 points of a playoff spot or in a playoff spot at, I think it was the American Thanksgiving. So, late November.
Mm-hmm.
Only 10 didn't make it.
That's crazy.
So, if this Blackhawks team is in that range, Elliot Friedman's math favors them.
Or they make history.
Yeah.
Either way.
So it's not an exact science, but that's kind of the barometer that I think you can go by. And by that time, you're talking about, you've played about 20 games. It's about the quarter mark of the season. That you kind of know what you got and what you don't out of most teams. Now, there are obviously teams that go on crazy runs and turn things around. The Blues in 2019, when they won the Cup, they were dead last at was it the All-Star break?
Or was it New Year?
Or New Year,
one
yeah.
Of the two, yeah.
So those things can happen, and teams that, are in playoff spots at the trade deadline can crash out and miss. Like, obviously those things happen. But yeah, it's not, it's still early, but it's not impossible that you could talk about a Blackhawks team by this time in 1 month from now. We could be saying every game, every point actually matters because potentially expectations might be shifting a little bit.
Can't wait.
Still early. Let's get through Tampa tomorrow. But we'll see.
All right. Let's see you tomorrow. 5:15 pregame. 5:45 puck drop. We will be here before.
Game is
and after.
ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus or Hulu. But it'll be there. So don't yell at us when you can't find it. It's on ESPN Plus or Hulu. And yes, there are free trials available of all those things. So jump on them if you don't have them.
Bob Wickhuysen on the call with AJ Mleczko.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
I like Bob Wickhuysen.
Bob's great.
Awesome. All right, we're going to wrap things up. We will talk to you tomorrow at 5:15 on the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.